Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and today I am joined or am joining a very special guest while out here in Salt Lake City. So I'm here with Rachel Wagner.
Yes, this is so fun.
Yes, and we are here to rank all 10 of the DisneyNature films, including this week's latest release in Penguins.
Yeah. And we were thinking that we first met in 2016 after both posting DisneyNature posts.
Earth Day, which
Earth
is
Day.
right around here as well. So,
Yeah.
woo, Earth
So,
Day.
Just brings the world
Find of our
together.
friendship, Earth Day. So this year actually marks the 10th year anniversary for DisneyNature as a subdivision within the Disney parent company. And as you can both see, we're both big Disney fans. And as we mentioned before, we're both really big fans of the DisneyNature films. So what better way to celebrate the release of Penguins and the 10th year anniversary than to rank all 10 DisneyNature films to date?
Well, it's really fun because the DisneyNature films really go back to sort of the legacy of Walt, where he got a ton of Oscars and a ton of things, was actually in documentaries, and making nature documentaries were actually a big part of early Disney that we kind of forget about. But it's always been a part of the Disney legacy, I guess, to do these nature documentaries.
Certainly. And then when you even look at the subject of Disney's animated and live action films, animals are a heavy focus of Disney at large. It's heavily focused on animated real life animals. So now this is just both of our own separate personal lists. We did not come up with lists together, and these are just our opinions. So if you have seen all 10 or however many DisneyNature films you have seen, make sure to leave your own personal ranking in the comment section down below so we can talk about DisneyNature.
Yeah.
So we are going to kick off with number 10. So do you want to give your number 10 pick, Rachel?
My number 10 is The Wings of Life. It's about the butterflies, and it has Meryl Streep and narrating, and it's just, these early sort of Disney films weren't trying as hard to do narratives, but they try with this one, and it just doesn't work. You just can't get enough emotion out of bugs, and it's just, this one is pretty dry. It's pretty boring.
I also agree on this one, so we can both just kind of talk about it. Number 10, I also have Wings of Life.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing is, with so many of the films, you have these really personal animals who really emote. They have personalities and individual personalities, even within the different animals you're watching. And when it gets to a subject like butterflies, it's much harder to engage the viewer. I think there are some gorgeous scenes, though. Like they get some really beautiful shots of just the butterflies within the forest that are stunning. I think they would have maybe been better served, though, to do a bee movie because bees are so much more inherently important and endangered right now. They're going through more of a crisis. But the butterflies, they're pretty. Meryl Streep gives one of the more bland of the narrations, I'd say. And it's definitely the one I look to rewatch the least.
Yeah, agreed.
So what do you have in at number 9?
Number 9, I have Earth. These first two DisneyNature movies are more sort of traditional in the style of David Attenborough. And it's more in that style, and they're beautiful, but just a little bit more dry. And I prefer the more narrative a little bit more. Sometimes they go too far with it, but I don't know, I just, even though beautiful imagery, it's just not as interesting to me as some of these other ones.
So I also have Earth at number 9. A big reason for me Earth comes in at number 9 is because it's actually almost all footage that was used for Earth. So it wasn't really a lot of original footage. It's footage we've seen. And it's hard to match Attenborough when you're doing this because he is so lively and so passionate about what he's doing. So he really brings a lot to those 10-part series and those big documentaries they released. And here, it was fine. It was pretty, but it was a lot of, I've seen that, and I enjoy watching that a little bit more in the series format because you get to really learn and really get the intricacies when you have episodes dedicated to different parts of the world. Whereas here, we're basically just doing a quick flyby around the globe and then calling it a day. So, number 8.
Number 8, I have oceans, and it's higher for me than Earth just because I'm a huge ocean beach person. I love being in the ocean, and so that gets a little bit more yardage for me. I love that.
Yeah. So I swear we did not put our list together with each other. We did it independently. But I also have ocean coming in at number 8. And the reason oceans is above Earth because, as you mentioned, they are pretty similar in the fact that they just kind of like go through the motions and just show different parts of the ocean. But I think they captured some really amazing footage in oceans, and it was a little bit more fresh, a little bit new, more different than what Earth was able to give us. In particular, I loved that sequence with all of the animals coming together to feed together. You have like the humpback whales coming up, the birds swooping in, the sharks, the dolphins. To me, that scene alone, I was just like, oh! And anytime you get humpback whales with their songs and their babies, I'm like, oh!
and correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a while since I saw this one, but don't they get a little bit more narrative, right? They follow like 6 different families or
so this one they don't have much this one they don't have as much of a narrative. This one they actually bring humans in. This one shows humans at the end of the film with Pierce Brosnan narrating, and he kind of narrates the messaging near the end of Ocean with those kids at the beach. But this one is like no narrative.
Okay, I feel like one of them had like 6 sort of families. Maybe it's a different documentary I'm thinking of. But anyway, so it's beautiful, and I do love anything with the ocean, so I'd watch it again.
Yeah.
So
number 7
for me, number 7 is African cats. This is definitely the most sort of gritty of them. Like it's definitely, I mean, they're predators and they behave like lions should behave, and that's fine. But as far as with kids, like you'd want to make sure you kind of educated them and, make sure they understood what was happening. It might be kind of upsetting. I remember that Samuel Jackson's narration was kind of not the greatest. But, it's interesting and it's beautiful. And they start to kind of, I feel like this is the one where they've started the formula. Yeah. They kind of know what they're trying to do. And it's good, but I just like the other one better.
So now we get to deviate just a bit. So at number 7, I have Monkey Kingdom. Monkey Kingdom, I think, is a lot of fun. Actually, I think these little monkeys that we follow are really cute, and they're so unique in their appearance, whether they're like little old men when they're just born babies, or they're fun little like hairstyles. And the hierarchy of their society was also really interesting to kind of watch and see. But we've discussed this before amongst the two of us. This one definitely has the most staged moments. This one is the one I feel, maybe even the only one, honestly, where I felt human interference definitely played a part in the documentary taking place. I think Tina Fey is really lively. She's having fun with her narration, and the monkeys are effortlessly fun and funny little animals. So it's a lot of fun. That whole human interference part puts it a little bit below the ones that they let naturally just take place.
Yeah, I agree. I have that as my number 6. So I do agree that that's the downside to it is that it does feel sort of staged, but I feel like it's more kid friendly. So I guess that's why it gets the slight edge. For me, these movies are made for children, and I think that Monkey Kingdom is more kid friendly than African Cats.
And we actually just swapped here because I have African Cats coming in at number 6. The storyline I actually really enjoyed with African Cats was the cheetah. I thought the cheetah subplot was really cute. All of those cheetahs were really cute, and their whole family dynamic was really interesting. The cats as well, the lions were interesting as well. There's some really brutal stuff that happens with those lions. Samuel Jackson is
they're just behaving like lions, but
it's one of the few where one of our mothers dies. I mean, this is one of the ones where we get attached to the mom and she dies. And it's like, oh no.
Right.
And I mean, of course, you need to keep those type of things in to kind of give that educational purposes this happens. I mean, we're dealing with nature and wild animals. Um, but overall, I was fine with African cats. I really enjoyed it. Upon watching it, it just some have come out since then that I've enjoyed more. So number 6 it is.
For number 5, I have the most recent one. I have penguins at number 5. It was really cute. These penguins were so cute and adorable. There were a few moments where I kind of wondered if it was about a little staged at certain moments, but the music cues were so over the top. I was dying laughing, especially when Aria Speedwagon plays in one of the moments. It was really ridiculous, but it's overall very sweet and very fun. But yeah, I just guess I like the other 4 a little better. But yeah, that's where I have penguins at 5.
So in at number 5, I have the Crimson Wing. So this is definitely one of the more serious of the documentaries that are in play here. And it is absolutely gorgeous. I actually would say I learned the most with the Crimson Wing because I had no idea where these flamingos got their color from. I had no idea about the lake and the algae and the food source that comes from there and their entire migration pattern. I mean, it was really the most educational for me personally out of all of the DisneyNature films. Plus, it's beautiful. I mean, these beautiful flamingos are just striking in their appearance. It also has the best score. I thought the music they used in this was really beautiful and accented the film well. But it's also the sad. I thought it was the saddest one of them all. So I was a little bit traumatized as an adult person watching what happens at this lake. But yes, it also, I mean, it carries a narrative to a point, but it's definitely not it's not narrative heavy-handed as some of these others are. So I think maybe I just didn't quite connect with the flamingos as much, but it's just such a well-made, beautiful nature documentary just at large. So I have it in at number 5.
Yeah, you'll see. I love it. It's really good. It's a good choice. My number 4 is Born in China. And I really like each of the sort of plots that you're following in Born in China. And it definitely, I think it actually is the saddest. What happens to particularly the story of the snow leopard, like that whole thing is very, very sad. And but there's the pandas that are so interesting, and some of the shots they got, how they didn't die. The whole time I'm watching, I'm like, how did you not die? How did you not die? Like these animals will kill you. But so that was incredible, and it was interesting too because I don't know anything about China, or hardly at all about the animals in China, and so that was interesting. So yeah, that's what I have for.
So at number 4, I have the latest release. I have Penguin. So as Rachel said, this one is just so adorable. These penguins are so full of like character and personality. They're so cute just by existing. Just the way they waddle run is so adorable that I couldn't handle it. And seeing their little clumsy selves. Plus, I understand a little bit with what you're saying on, is it staged, is it not? Because I don't know if they made the decision because they saw this little lone penguin who was just like off doing his own little jam, or what happened there. But they have this little penguin who's just like going off on his own away from the rest of them. Slow to the game.
Yeah.
But I thought we had some really interesting moments. I learned something here as well, which is always really nice about baby penguins and their survival tactics that I would not have imagined they were equipped for. So of course, orcas are one of my favorite animals. Them and elephants are like fighting for number 1 constantly. I wish there were more orcas, but then we might have solved some unsavory business. I don't know. But I thought it was just so much fun. It was so funny. The musical cues were real heavy, which was a bit of a shame because I thought the original score that they used was actually really good and did the job well enough that they didn't need these pop over-the-top songs. And Ed Helms, he skated that line a little bit. He was having fun with it, but I was like, no, stop. Stop it. But that's really what keeps it from breaking into my top 3. The Penguins is a lot of fun.
Yeah, very good. So my number 3 is Bears.
Oh.
Because I think Bears does such a good job in like really having a narrative with just like one, set of this bears that you follow through the whole thing. And it has been a while since I saw it, but I just remember really enjoying it, enjoying the narrative. I thought it was very successful.
Yeah. So in at number 3, I have Born in China.
Mm.
So Born in China, I really enjoyed, first of all, because who doesn't love baby pandas?
Yeah.
And these little baby pandas were so cute. And their interactions with their mom, like her like chasing them around trying to catch the little baby. It was just so adorable. And then that snow leopard whole storyline is really heartbreaking. But again, just another reminder of nature and the unfortunate roughness that nature brings with it. Mm-hmm. I also really enjoyed the cranes, even though we didn't get a lot of them, because they used those cranes to really bring in like Chinese mythology, which was really interesting because they haven't really done that with any of the other ones. They haven't been country based like that. So I really appreciated that they brought the animals of the country into just mythology and the whole environment of it all. Yeah. But yeah, I thought all of the stories worked really well. They were beautiful shots. So Born in China is cute. It tells at least 2 really comprehensive, complete stories of these animals, and it's definitely one of their best outings yet.
Yeah, it's a good one. All right, so I have at number 2, I have Chimpanzee, which is so good. I mean, because something happens in Chimpanzee that even the experts aren't expecting, and they literally have to stop and give interviews, which they don't do in these later DisneyNature films ever. But they had Jane Goodall on at one point, and she's like, "That doesn't happen. That's not a thing," and yet it happened. And so that was really cool to be able to see nature just adapt to something that it wasn't supposed to. The unpredictability of nature was really cool to see and interesting, and it felt authentic. It didn't feel staged. It felt like this authentic thing that they were so sure they're closing everything down. They're not going to be able to finish the documentary. And then, boom, this crazy thing happens. And I mean, it's so crazy that you have to say a spoiler for a DisneyNature film, but you really do. You have to say, and so it's really good.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So my pick for number 2 is bears. Mm-hmm. So I think bears, the last time I ranked the DisneyNature, actually was my number 1, mm-hmm. because I do really love this film. I think it's one of their best films because it encapsulated everything I want from a DisneyNature film. I thought the narration was just lively enough. It added enough color without over dramatizing the animals.
It's Tim Allen, right?
Yeah. I thought the narration was really good. It didn't go over the top in it trying to explain away their behaviors or really give them false motives or person motives in their quest. But these little bears are so cute. These little baby bears. The mama bear is also so fierce. I love that we get to see her in action, like defending her children and like the attempts she makes to keep them safe from other adult bears. We get moments with wolves and all of this scenery as we work through the mountains and see what these bears go through, their entire trek from the den all the way up into this like fish haven, which turned out to be completely gorgeous. I think Bears is a perfect blend of kid-friendly, educational, cute. It had pretty much everything I want from a DisneyNature film. So number 2 it is.
Very good. So now we're at number 1. This is very exciting.
Number 1.
So my number 1 is Crimson Wing. Oh. I love this movie. I can't even remember when I've been so invested in a documentary that I was literally like yelling at the screen. And they do such a good job in this one of like, I'm the legend of the lake. And you can think it was really cheesy because it kind of is, but I went with it. And they're trying to make these flamingos like they're setting it up like Lord of the Rings or something. It's like this epic legend, and I love it. And they particularly these little baby flamingos, they get these salt shackles on their feet and they can't run, and you just want to yell out to the producers like, remove the salt shackles, please help. And that was so cute. And then there's also these, I don't know, I forget what kind of birds that are these predator birds that are just like looming, and they are like Sauron. I mean, they are villain. villain of this tale, of this legend, and the way the music works, and you sort of this dark music when these birds are flying over them, and the poor little bird with his salt shackles running, and then the evil bird like flying down, and you're like, oh no! It was definitely the one by far that I got the most emotionally invested in, for sure. And I thought it was so good. They did a great job. And yeah, I didn't know anything about that or about that area of the world. And so it was really interesting. And I think they did a great job with that one. So it's my favorite.
Really beautiful movie. So at number one for me, taking over for Bears, since last time I did a DisneyNature ranking, I have Chimpanzee. I think everything I said about Bears pretty much applies again, just a little bit better, because I think the story is just so amazing. What happens in the film is just so spectacular. It's not just following the traditional chimpanzee life. It's not just following along with what they do all the time. You get that because you see them in their family dynamics, but we get an extraordinary event that creates this whole new narrative that they wouldn't have even really thought to make a movie about. Nevertheless, nature just handed it right to them. So it's so cute. Our little baby chimpanzee is so adorable. And this is another case of, we have chimpanzees, one of the most expressive, full of personality animals out there that obviously us as humans can relate to, watching them and their ways of being. Of course, we get the hierarchy drama as the rival chimp keep trying to break in and steal their place.
But when there's that unpredictable moment, isn't that the coolest?
It's crazy, because you wouldn't even believe it again if you read it. It's like, what? That's crazy. Yeah. And to have experts just taken aback, and then to have it play out in such a beautiful and amazing way through the film. I mean, it was something really to behold, and I think that really makes it a special one, to where the narrative isn't entirely crafted by the humans watching. It's crafted by nature, and they provide maybe one of the most interesting narratives that DisneyNature has given us. So that's why it's my number one. It was your number two. But really, I've had a great time with DisneyNature as a company. I mentioned it in all of my reviews for their film. I really love that Disney continues to put these out, even when they don't. Dolphins.
Yes, dolphins. That's my least favorite, because we never got it, and I'm so bitter.
But I hope that they continue on. I know that these films don't make a ton of money at the box office, but it seems Disney is content with what they are bringing in. They continue to make them and continue to donate. And I love that at the beginning of each film now, they kind of give a quick rundown and synopsis of what you've done by going to support them, the acres of land that they've helped to save, and the amount of trees they planted, the ocean, all of that good jazz. So it's a really nice thing that DisneyNature continues to go on, and I can't wait to see what the subject of our next DisneyNature film is going to be.
Hashtag release dolphin.
Maybe Disney Plus? Well, Rachel, thank you so much for joining me today to talk about DisneyNature. You want to let everyone know where they can find you across the internet?
Yes, you can find me at Rachel's Reviews all over social media and on iTunes and YouTube. And you can find me at Hallmarkies Podcast as well, all over social media and on iTunes and YouTube there as well. So check that out, and we have a lot of fun.
Wonderful. So make sure you go look her up, follow, subscribe, all of that fun jazz. And while you're here, make sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to this channel so you're always up to date on our latest movie reviews and videos.
And let us know if you've seen any of these, what your rankings would be.
Make sure to leave your ranking in the comment section down below. Let us know what you thought of our ranking, and let us know what you'd like the subject of the next DisneyNature film to be. So thank you all so much for your continued support. I just messed up my own outro. So I love you all so much for your continued support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!